Right now at noon, the Kansas State Senate approves a budget defunding the State Art Commission. We'll look at the potential impact.
And we have an alert day today. Severe thunderstorms still appear possible as we head into the late evening hours, and all hazards are possible with those storms. We'll break it all down for you coming up.
And we'll take a deeper look at what the elimination of a federal grant means for aspiring teachers in Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
An 18-year-old driver suffered serious injuries after crashing into a guardrail yesterday morning. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Samantha Walker. Baxter Springs Fire and Galena Fire were alerted Monday morning to a vehicle crash south of the Rainbow Bridge where a car was impaled by a guardrail. The driver had gone through the front windshield and out the back. That was the guardrail, sorry, not the driver. Authorities tell us the female driver was transported to a Joplin hospital with serious injuries. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
And we have that alert day in place today for the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms late this evening into the overnight. And then we've got another round we've got to watch as we head into early tomorrow morning. Right now, though, mostly cloudy skies, but we are starting to see a little more sunshine out there, not just from the Pittsburgh camera, but from the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin as well. Again, we've got the clouds, we've got the wind. Now we're getting some sunshine. Here's what we're looking at in terms of those threats. It's not just today, it's into tomorrow. We now have an enhanced risk over a much broader portion of our area heading into tonight with that elevated risk just to the east. And then as this line, that's for tonight's storms. Then tomorrow we'll get a line of storms early tomorrow morning. And so that's why we have the low to enhanced risk for the area heading into our Wednesday as well. We also have some wind advisories for at least a few locations through the early morning hours tomorrow. And that's not just for the winds today, that's for winds tonight. Non-thunderstorm wind gusts overnight reaching upwards of 50 miles an hour. We started yesterday at 39, so just a little below normal, made it to 52, so a little bit more below normal as we got our Monday underway. We are warming up. We're already warmer than that now. We're up to 62 in Joplin, 61 in Pittsburgh. With the addition of that sunshine, we're starting to see those temperatures rise where we're seeing more sunshine, upper 60s back into northeastern Oklahoma, and still some upper 50s and low 60s across Kansas and the northern parts of Missouri. So here's what we're looking at. We've got that possibility of those strong to severe thunderstorms somewhere between 7 and 11 tonight, and we are looking at least in this initial round, the possibility of supercell thunderstorms. And then tomorrow morning, we'll have that line of storms fall back into the mid 60s through 11 o'clock. Temperatures just kind of holding out there in the mid 60s. We're going to break down hour by hour what we're expecting for tonight and as we head into our Wednesday morning and what you need to know about this severe threat here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. A Kansas state budget cut could eliminate funding for an organization that provides grants for art, possibly leading to the loss of local art programs. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Express ourselves on stage is by telling the stories.
Tony Sanchez, the board president of the Pittsburgh Community Theater, says art and theater are a big part of his life. And Pittsburgh Community Theater is something he's been involved with for over 20 years. Sanchez says one of his favorite things about the arts is the ability to share it with others in the community, which is why he believes cutting funding for the Kansas Art Commission, who provides grants for art projects throughout Kansas, would have a negative impact, especially on a small rural town like Pittsburgh.
Cut something entirely, that really is counterintuitive to, creating a great community and enhancing people's lives through the arts. The arts bring a lot of energy and jobs.
The Kansas Senate recently approved a budget that cuts funds for the Kansas Art Commission. Darcy Schultz, the general manager of Memorial Auditorium in Pittsburgh, says this defunding could hinder music, community theater, mural creations around town, and even arts education.
Limit the number of performances or productions that an organization is able to produce. It could limit the offerings. It could raise ticket prices, because now the organization is having to find ways to generate that revenue.
Schultz says art adds vibrance and employment opportunities to the community and worries that without a buzzing art community in Pittsburgh, some people could opt to leave the town. And Schultz puts out a call to action.
And you want it to stay a vibrant place to live. please contact your local representatives and express your concern.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Kansas state budget now moves to a conference committee. Pittsburgh High School has a new lead principal, a member of the Dragon family since joining as a math teacher in 2017. Chris Krotz, who has served as an assistant principal since 2023, says he's honored to step into this role and looks forward to working with staff and students to inspire excellence. He officially takes over on July 1st, while the search for a new assistant principal begins immediately. Interested candidates can apply on the district website. A federally funded grant aimed at combating teacher shortages in Missouri has been eliminated. We told you in February Missouri had been approved for the $4.2 million Teacher Quality Grant. It helped pay for the education of future teachers. Now members of the Southwest Center for Educational Excellence say that funding has dried up as part of the Trump administration's effort to reduce spending and dismantle the Department of Education.
I would urge the community to look at is whether you have children in the Seneca, the Joplin, the Webb City, the Carthage School District. That's irrelevant. We have teachers that we can't fill in those positions. So we do have a teacher shortage.
Massey says people who were using the grant are now working with MSSU for scholarships and tuition reductions. Missouri food banks say they're expecting to lose millions of dollars in donations from the USDA this year. It comes as the USDA confirms that $500 million in the Emergency Food Assistance Program food purchases have been permanently canceled. Ozarks Food Harvest and Springfield say they will lose $3 million in food from the USDA. Staff at the food bank say their network of 270 charities will be unable to fill the funding gap. Coming up, voters in Missouri may be voting, seeing their abortion ban back on the ballot. And later, we're making Canada tarts in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Abortion could be on the Missouri ballot again next year. That's despite voters nearly 5 months ago approving a constitutional amendment to allow abortion in the state. Beth Carlson has the story.
Who gets to decide whether abortion is legal?
Most of the people who I encounter do not want legislators setting the confines for the factors they need to consider in consultation with their doctor.
Back in November, voters approved Amendment 3, legalizing abortion in Missouri. Since then, Republicans have made new proposals to counter that amendment.
If passed through our legislative process, the language of this HJR would be presented for a vote of the people in Missouri by being placed on the ballot.
Last month, Republican Representative Melanie Stinnett proposed a measure that would put a near total abortion ban back on the ballot.
Substitute signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. The ayes have it. You've adopted the substitute.
Missouri Planned Parenthood locations are offering some procedural abortions. But last week, the Secretary of State's office wrote an emergency rule that rejected the clinic's submitted plans to offer medication abortions. I talked to the Planned Parenthood Great Plains CEO back in February. She says they predicted this pushback from lawmakers.
We'll be able to say these restrictions are politically motivated, they're not in line with standards of care, and we anticipate that those restrictions will be blocked and will continue access there in Columbia.
That brings us to today, when the House Committee for Families and Children passed the measure to ban most abortions. It would bar all abortions except in the case of medical emergencies, rape or incest, or fetal anomaly, which would be legal in the first 12 weeks of pregnancy.
The resolution could make its way back to an election ballot if it gets full legislative support, and the same from Missouri's governor. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Join us today as we cross the Canadian border in search of an international pastry that many say is Canada at its best.
And we've got that alert day tracking the possibility of strong to severe storms, not just this evening, but tomorrow, the latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. We have that alert day in place as we head into the late evening hours, and then we're watching another potential round of strong to severe storms tomorrow morning. We're going to start with that live look outside in downtown Pittsburgh, where we've been mostly cloudy. And again, traditionally, the clouds act as what we call a cap. It helps inhibit thunderstorm development. And so far, that's been the case. And that's why, we're not going to see anything now. It's going to be late this evening. The problem is, do you see the sunshine out there? You see those shadows? We're starting to see a few breaks in those clouds. Our temperatures are starting to rise. We have those gusty southeast winds, and that's going to lead to our severe threat tonight. Now, this has changed since this morning. If you were with us this morning, you notice there's a lot more red on this map now than there was this morning. So we're going to start with the wind risk. We have an enhanced wind risk across virtually all of southeast Kansas, stretching down to Miami, back toward Joplin, of course, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Nevada, and Butler. And we have that then in our far northern edges here of southeast Kansas. We have the hatch marks. That's where we could see 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. Then we have the elevated to enhanced hail risk. That has been expanded a little further to the east once again. And we have those hatch marks, which is the possibility of 2-inch in diameter or larger size hail. The other concern is the enhanced tornado risk that now reaches right up to the Kansas-Missouri state line and into northeastern Oklahoma. Didn't reach that far before. And then it's got those hatch marks for the possibility of a strong tornado. It'd be EF2 or greater. Now, that sounds terrifying, and it's an unpleasant situation, but it is still a conditional threat. This is one of those situations, the right ingredients have to come together. Now, the reason we have these out here is the atmosphere is going to be primed for it. It's just a matter of getting that spark. So out of all of that through late evening, we may only see 1 or 2 supercells, but those 1 or 2 supercells could intensify very quickly and get mean very quickly. Now, our threat translates into tomorrow. We won't get another update for tomorrow until about 12:30 or so today, so right as we're heading off the air. But we still have a low to elevated tornado threat, a low to enhanced hail risk, and a low to elevated wind risk with the line of storms that's expected overnight tonight, very early tomorrow morning. So very likely as we're going on with the KOAM Morning News, we'll have another round of strong to severe thunderstorms that we're going to have to deal with. So here we go. This green stuff, this could be some radar echoes. This isn't going to actually be anything. It's at 2 o'clock. We go into the evening hours, winds continuing to gust, temperatures continuing to climb. Then about 7. We start to see opportunities for supercells across Oklahoma, and they'll begin to roll into our area. They're going to move pretty quickly as well. So we could see 1 or 2 supercells out there, and we get by 9, you can see, and again, bear in mind, the future track saying supercells. It does again not mean there's going to be one right there, but it's showing that the environment is going to be favorable for potent supercells. That's why that tornado threat is so high. That's why that hail risk is so high, because even if we only get 1 storm, it could be the 1 storm that does bring a significant impact. That continues to lift off to the northeast. Future track showing possibly another weakening supercell rolling up the Will Rogers Turnpike into southwest Missouri by 11 o'clock or midnight. That's a possibility. Then we get a lull in activity. Now where the next big question lies is with the front. Thunderstorm development. You remember if you were with us this morning, by 3 a.m. we had storms out by Yates Center. It's not the case on this update, and I guarantee you it's going to change again. There's questions as to exactly when these storms will initiate along the front. The problem is we'll have the ingredients in place that the storms we do see initiate along the front will very likely intensify pretty quickly and be strong to severe. And see right here at 9 a.m. where that line is from Stockton, Lamar, Joplin, Miami, Veneta. It's going to be right in line with that outlook we showed you for tomorrow, where the wind, hail, and tornado threats kind of increase off to the south and east. So a lot we still need to keep an eye on out there. And like I mentioned earlier, on top of all of that, we have non-thunderstorm wind gusts today up to 35 tonight. Those non-thunderstorm wind gusts up to 50. We're near 70. We'll be in the mid-70s tomorrow, cooler. And one other thing I didn't get to cover with you all is the fact that we have another possibility of some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms in our southern counties on Friday. Now, it may move a little further south. It's barely into our southern counties, but it's just another day we want to watch. But for right now, our main focus this evening between 7 and 11, and tomorrow morning sometime after about 4 a.m.
So this is definitely a time period people want to be weather aware.
Absolutely.
Have that weather app, be able to get those alerts.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making Canada tarts in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Today we go north for a tasty dessert. We're making Canada tarts in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As our week-long series of international food favorites continues, today we're celebrating a dessert that's considered Canada's most highly regarded pastry, the butter tart. Once you sink your teeth into one of these bite-sized pastries, you'll know why they're so popular. To make them, we start by preparing a basic pie crust. After letting it chill for a bit, we roll it out just like we would if we were making a pie. Then we cut out circles and place them in a muffin pan. After all the dough is used up, we place a spoonful of raisins or chopped walnuts in each cup and top them with a mixture we made by combining some brown sugar with melted butter, a couple of beaten eggs, corn syrup, apple cider vinegar, vanilla, and a pinch of salt. Then we'll pop these into the oven, and in about 20 minutes, they're done. It takes just one bite to appreciate what makes these so popular. The pastry is super flaky, the filling is buttery rich, and together, they're amazing. To get the recipe for what is known as Canada tarts, all you need to do is visit our website or head north to the Canadian border. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a Canadian way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
All right, we've got our alert day through the late evening hours between 7 and 11, an opportunity for supercell thunderstorms. And if these come to be, then we are looking at a potentially significant hail threat, and we'll have to keep an eye out for the possibility of a tornado or two as well. And then we'll have another round of strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow morning, sometime after about 3 or 4 a.m. So a couple of rounds we definitely want to watch over the next the next about 12 hours or so.
Wow.
That's something we'll be definitely paying close attention to. Outside of just tracking weather, tonight at 5, we do have some other stories coming up.
We do indeed. Here are some of them. New research suggests intermittent fasting can lead to greater weight loss than just cutting calories. We're going to have more on what doctors are saying about the growing health trend and what you need to know to be safe. Plus, following a series of public meetings, what does the Kansas Department of Transportation have planned for US 69? And a new statue is added to Mercy Park, helping to honor Joplin's history of mining. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Thank you so much, Dow. That's our news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.